Well, listen, let's bring up our first guest. And, we have such a great show for you. And we have had such a great show lined up that what I did was I just decided to throw the whole thing out 24 hours ago and rebuild it with all new guests. Because that's what happens. Some of you may cook, or sometimes you may be in the kitchen and you think, well, this really calls for garlic, but all I have is cinnamon. So you just put the cinnamon in and it's a whole new flavor. And then you realize you ruined the whole dish, so you throw it out the window and you order from Seamless anyway, which is what you should have done in the first place. And you get yourself a bottle of whiskey and just see how things go. Well, that's where we are tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm so pleased that my first guest could be here. She's a dear friend, and she's a great storyteller, and she hosts a terrific program, a live show, and a great podcast. It's called the Soundtrack Series. Please welcome Dana Rossi, ladies and gentlemen. There, you got a microphone. Make sure and use that. Dana, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great, and I'm very happy that you came through for me.
No, of course. I'm glad you asked me.
Things were looking dire, and now you and Louie are my best friends. Sorry, Steve-O.
That's why I did it.
So you could hang out with us.
So I
We've got quite a good-looking bowling team going now. We can do a whiskey tasting and bowling run. Anyway, Dana, now, of course, last time I saw you, you were having one of your events, the Soundtrack Series. Maybe explain. Now, I should also say, you are one of the first people to be a repeat guest on this program.
Oh, really?
Yes, you've been on the show before, but and we had a great talk maybe a couple of years ago. So I'm not going to cover all the same information, but just let people know who may be new to you what the Soundtrack Series is.
It's basically people pick a song and they tell the story. They always connect to that song, wherever their memory goes. Whenever they hear a particular song, we all have one.
And so, it can be from any era. Sometimes you group it. You'll have an 80s theme or something like that. Mm-hmm. And last time I saw you, you were at the Museum of the Moving Image.
Yes, we do some shows there too.
And that was Dirty Dancing.
Right. So sometimes at the museum, whenever they're showing a movie that has some kind of iconic soundtrack, we'll come and tell a few stories about the soundtrack, like how that sort of made a mark on our lives. Before that, and then they show the movie. So we've done Pulp Fiction, Saturday Night Fever, Dirty Dancing.
Oh,
I'm hoping the next one can be Purple Rain. So
I think we're all hoping for that.
Anyway.
And you, with Dirty Dancing, you had a specific story because you only came to that movie through the music, right? First,
yes, because I was 9 when that came out, and I was not allowed to see that movie whatsoever. I think my mom was really afraid I was going to have questions about the abortion scene.
Right.
But I could watch Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I didn't understand. No, but so I would listen to the soundtrack and then try to, based on the soundtrack, and if you remember, did you guys have the Dirty Dancing soundtrack? Okay, did you remember, like, if you had it on, like, an album, if you flipped it over, there were still shots under each track of of the movie. I used those and the songs to try to piece the movie together in my head. So like a 9-year-old's version of that movie is primo.
That's how early movies were made.
Right? They just got a random disgruntled 9-year-old whose mom said she couldn't watch it.
They had a player piano set up and then somebody would hold the pictures. I'm pretty sure that's the origin of cinema.
I think so.
I haven't done any studies in it. But now... But that was a real awakening for you, was it, that movie?
Yes.
You had a lot of feelings for the first time?
Did I have feelings for the first time? I don't remember. What did I say in that story?
I don't know, but I had a lot of feelings myself watching it. What's the guy's name? Johnny Danger? What's his name? Johnny Bravo?
Johnny Castle. Wasn't it Johnny Castle?
Johnny Castle,
yeah.
I think that's right. Boy, what a hunk that Swayze was. As long as he kept quiet, he was great in that film.
Yeah.
Just when he talked. That's the kind of guy, just smash the window if you can't get in.
Overload. Yeah.
Yeah, he really got in there.
You're welcome.
One of my favorite soundtracks, of course, is the Sling Blade soundtrack. I don't know if you recall that. That was quite an emotional film for me. And if I'm ever having a panic attack, maybe I told you this before, but the theme from When We Were Kings, the Muhammad Ali documentary, that just calms me right down. Something about that brutal conflict puts things in perspective. Are there any other great modern soundtracks right now? It's kind of a dying art, isn't it?
Right now?
Yeah. What has been like, I mean, you say Pulp Fiction. That was one that I think people, maybe Kill Bill, some people bought that out.
No, I have that one. Yeah, I have that one.
What's a great modern one?
Like, how modern are we talking, though? You know what one I really liked? I mean, this is maybe, 8 years ago. But I really liked the Marie Antoinette one. The Sofia Coppola Marie Antoinette soundtrack was really great.
Remind me, what's on that?
A lot of like New Order and Radio Department and sad music that you should listen to when you're in your room crying and masturbating. That's not even my joke. A friend of mine made that joke about the Radio Department when he heard that, and he said, "I feel like I should be alone masturbating and crying."
Yeah.
But
for me, the two are inseparable.
I think it was for him too. But no, it's a lot. And that Bow Wow Wow is on that soundtrack. I'm trying to think now. Oh, and the Strokes, but no, I love that one.
And you also love, speaking of things you love Stevie Nicks. Is that
yes, I
true?
do.
What's the origin of that passion of yours?
That's a good question. I don't know. There was just this, one day there was a dancing woman, whereas the day before there wasn't. That's all.
It sounds like some of my relationships.
Yes. Should I show them the T-shirt though?
Yes, please.
All right.
Do.
Well, yeah. No, because he said. So I made this last night.
Last night you made the shirt?
Yeah.
Oh.
With the Staples like iron-on transfer things.
Sure.
So if you can't see, because I didn't use the right one, I used a light one for a dark T-shirt, and it didn't really work. But I was like, okay, I'm going to wear this today anyway. But basically, this is a book that her bodyguard wrote. So her bodyguard back in the 70s wrote a book called Hands Off. And it was all about self-defense for women and everything. So then this is a picture of the two of them doing karate. And then this down here says, Stevie Nicks can kill you. I wanted that on a T-shirt.
Now you have it.
Yeah, no, exactly.
That's great. Well, I learned a lot from that story. One, that Staples has iron-on transfers.
They
I'm
do.
excited about some projects that I'll have going on this weekend. And that she needed a bodyguard, and that she was trained in karate.
Yes, there are pictures all over the internet of her doing these crazy kicks. I mean, with the big platform boots on, and her form is excellent.
I think the only time that you saw her recently, is that true?
I saw you recently?
No, Stevie Nicks.
We're
often confused.
No, actually, it was last June when Fleetwood Mac was at Jones Beach.
Oh,
that would be the last time.
That was a big moment for you?
Yeah. I mean, it was the super moon, so I think it was a big moment for everybody.
Everybody
And
felt
Sharknado had just been on like a week prior, so that was a big summer.
That was huge.
Yeah.
I last saw her out in San Francisco. She was, I'm pretty sure this happened, that she was playing with a jazz festival, and she was singing Porgy and Bess, which that's the right person you want to have sing that song. And I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
It was Stevie Nicks.
Stevie Nicks.
Not Audra McDonald.
No. Any other appropriate person could have been put in, but it was Stevie Nicks. And
I feel like she'll just do it. Like she's gigging.
Yeah.
If you ask her, will you come and do this? Will you come and do this Dave Grohl documentary? Will you come and sing Porgy and Bess music? Will you go to South by Southwest? Yes. She'll just do it.
Yep. Don't touch my leather vest. I've got blousy sleeves.
There's now a contest to design her new shawl.
Her new shawl.
Yeah. You can enter a contest and design a new Stevie Nicks shawl. I didn't enter.
That's rock and roll.
Yeah,
Where do you wear a shawl?
Well, she just wore them on stage for pretty much her entire career.
Forever. Did she ever take it off and toss it out? Is that a thing that people collect?
Shawls of hers? That would be, oh my gosh, that would be a really hot commodity. She doesn't take them off.
No.
And certainly not throw them.
She just always
If she takes them off, it's by like 5 handlers.
She's always
backstage.
a little chilly.
A little chewy?
A little chilly. She's always a little chilly.
I think so. I mean, she was teeny tiny.
Sometimes with women, a lot of the blood rushes back into the center and to protect the womb, so your extremities can get cold.
Yeah.
So probably a shawl is appropriate. I know a lot about a lot of things. So now you also are working on a show. What's the show called? Can we talk about the show?
Which show? Soundtrack series or the?
Well, the soundtrack series is
show.
you're also focusing on the podcast aspect
Right,
of
yeah.
that, and there's some exciting things we can't talk about, but look for it in the future. But with the show, you have a day job
Yes,
where
I do.
because podcasting doesn't pay miraculously, so you have a thing that you do on the television.
I do. I work for the new Dick Wolf true crime show that's going to be on A&E a week from Thursday called Dead Again.
And does it have the same boom boom thing?
No, and it needs to.
Yeah, I think
that
it
should just
does.
follow that man everywhere, but no.
It's his
doesn't.
ringtone.
I know. I would hope so.
Probably a safe word.
I would. And dun 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 dun. Yeah.
Because he's into bondage. Is that true?
I don't know. I've not met Dick Wolf. I've not met Dick Wolf.
Secrets about Dick Wolf. So he's not. He's a great man. I don't know. Maybe.
I know.
We
I've never
don't
met
know.
him.
So he produced this thing. What is the show? You're enacting crimes.
Yeah, well, I'm not. I'm like the story PA. Basically, it is they recreate crime scenes of murders that actually happened and have been adjudicated, and so they take detectives now through these crime scenes to see what they find and if they arrive at the same conclusion as the original investigators. This sounds like a good time.
Fascinating.
Does it?
And now you're
Oh my
qualified
gosh.
to commit the crimes?
Am I qualified to commit them?
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Well, you're going through the whole process of setting the thing up and thinking like the criminal and making sure that it's realistic. By now, you could probably have some good skills that you could put to use.
To recreate a crime scene. Yeah, do you realize how many people don't know how to recreate a crime scene? And a lot of people try to. They try to make it look like a burglary. They try to make it look like something it wasn't. But there's a lot of science in a crime scene that people don't know anything about. There's a lot of science in just blood splatter.
I imagine there is.
Go on for hours.
I've tried a lot of times to recreate just hobbyist kind of stuff. Just on a card table, set up some things.
Can I ask the audience a question? I was actually working on something today. The next episode is just kind of full of the suspects and everything were pretty hillbilly-ish. What clothing should I not miss in putting them in clothing for recreations? I have the sleeveless flannel and camo pants. What am I missing?
Let's ask the
Overalls?
New York audience about hillbilly.
No, I mean, you never know what people know. Wait, overalls, you said?
Overall.
Okay.
Overalls.
Wife beaters, yes. And should they have like the yellow in here? Mullet. Yeah. What about rat tails?
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
So
Awesome. Trucker hat. Yes, that one I had. Yeah.
So this is just enforcing stereotypes is what this show is
Absolutely.
about.
Yep. Next Thursday on A&E. No, it's just to put people in recreation costumes.
I love it. You need some of those jugs too. Don't forget the jugs because they all play the jugs and they drink out of the jugs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's and a washboard.
Oh, and a washboard,
'cause
right,
they
yes.
don't have Sears, so you have to use the washboard. Well, that sounds great. When can you find out about that show? When's it on?
That is Thursday nights, so just like Cheers. That's what I've been telling everybody. 10 p.m. A&E.
However, if you were expecting Cheers, this is going to be different.
This is not
This is crime
like
scenes.
Cheers.
Not necessarily a cast of characters you would grow to love over time. Maybe not.
It's not like there's no one on Cheers is on this show.
Yeah, well, thematically, just
No, it is nothing
And the
like Cheers,
soundtrack
except
series?
that it's on Thursdays.
must see TV. Soundtrack series is when? When's the next one?
The next live one is probably not going to be until October or November, but the podcast is bi-weekly.
And you can find out about it at soundtrackseries.com.
Soundtrackseries.com. Yeah, podcasts on iTunes, Stitcher, the internet in general.
All over. Dana Rossi, thank you very much
Thank
for being
you.
here. Dana Rossi, ladies and gentlemen. Thank